This isekai anime with an overpowered MC started with a man named Kelvin. He reincarnated into another world. In the new world, he woke up and realized that he has no memories, and a magical voice appeared and introduced him to the new world. Kelvin learnt that he is a summoner and that the voice of the goddess of reincarnation Melfina was his chosen partner. Through Melfina, Kelvin knew that he died of a mistake by a god, and the god sent Kelvin to Melfina, with whom he fell in love immediately, and when choosing his skills, he asked Melfina to be his partner in the new isekai world, so she made a pact with him. He also traded his memories for more skill points. Also, being a summoner, he can summon Melfina, but to summon her, he needs more MP than he currently has. So Melfina guided Kelvin to join an adventurer's guild and telling him to hide his class that he is a summoner, since it is very rare in this world and he wanted to remain inconspicuous. So Kelvin started as a registered rank F green mage and went first to equip with a wooden stick, then he went hunting blue slimes. Before attacking the slimes, he used his S rank skill Appraising Eye so he could see the stats. He then tried to attack a slime, but they were extremely quick and wiped it out permanently, but after a while he managed to weaken a slime and spawned his first pact as a summoner with the blue slime. Kelvin named his slime Clotho, and Melfina explains that he and his companions can understand each other without words. Kelvin then summoned his blue slime Clotho, and they both fought other slimes. During the fight, Kelvin learned from Melfina that all of his companions' status values were given a power-up by a skill. While Kelvin considered his stunning style, Clotho hunted down yet another blue slime. Kelvin then uses the reward he received to look for a tavern that was recommended to him, but he found a slave trader with elves on his way and moved on. Shortly thereafter he found the tavern he was looking for and booked a room and a large meal, which he happily stuffed in his mouth. In the days that followed, Kelvin was promoted to rank E after completing a higher ranking assignment solo. This caused unhappiness in the guild, with Kelvin suspected of being a high court mage as he is too strong for a newcomer, but somehow he talked his way out. Subsequently, Kelvin wanted to accept a rank D assignment, and so he made acquaintance with Cashiel, an adventurer at rank D. He told Kelvin about an assignment where a black knight is part of it, but Ange from the reception warned Kelvin that the mission was way beyond D rank goes, and so he looked at Cashiel's stats and noting that his title was murderer, which concerned him slightly. But Kelvin accepted the job despite Ange's warnings and responded to Cashiel's provocations. So Kelvin suggested a contest that they do the job separately. Cashiel then plotted with his group to lure Kelvin into a trap. But Kelvin already suspected that Cashiel was trying to lure him into a trap and took countermeasures by activating a trap spell that worked like quicksand. So Kelvin immobilized one of Cashiel's henchmen and followed into a fight, causing one of Cashiel's henchmen to flee. But Kelvin summoned his blue slime, which was already waiting for the fled henchman, whereupon Clotho brought the henchman back to Kelvin, and Kelvin remembered how Clotho recently evolved into a slime Blatonia that is almost as strong as a demon king. Shortly thereafter, Clotho knocked out the henchman being hunted, and the other henchman was able to break free with his enormous power, which was then also trapped by Clotho's overpowered Kelvin's blue slime. Meanwhile, Cashiel attacked Kelvin, but Kelvin overpowered him with ease and tied Cashiel with his henchmen up, to handing them over of the guild. After that, Kelvin went to the Black Knight and first looked at his status and name. Suddenly Kelvin wanted him as a companion and asked him for a pact. The Black Knight Gerard only laughed, because normally everyone only attack him, and Kelvin did the exact opposite of the Black Knight expectation, so they became friends and Gerard told him his story of how he became a Black Knight. This was followed by a fight with Gerard, but Kelvin defeated Gerard with one of his powerful attacks, so he completed his quest and brought some of Gerard's broken armor back to the guild. He also turned over Cashiel and his subjects to the guild, who were arrested. Through the completed quest came Ange, who praised him and also said that the guild master would increase his rank since the quest went well beyond D rank. But suddenly Gerard appeared in his astral form and asked Kelvin about Ange if he would take her as his wife. The goddess Melfina became jealous and Clotho also appeared in astral form. But while talking, Melfina noticed that someone was nearby and Kelvin met the guild master. Suddenly he asked if Kelvin was from another world. Kelvin immediately sensed something was wrong and saw that his guild master had the Appraising Eye skill at rank A and his concealment skill at rank B couldn't cover it up. The guild master also knew about Kelvin's true class as a summoner and really panicked Kelvin, so he admitted everything. This led to the guild master knowing the incident about Cashiel, but there was nothing he could do as Cashiel belonged to a noble family. He also stated that he didn't want to make Kelvin to an enemy but rather wanted to work with him. He told Kelvin about other people from other worlds he had met before and that the Demon King would rise soon and the summoned heroes couldn't take care of the whole continent. So the guild master asked if Kelvin could take care of the monsters. Also, the guild master would support him throughout, and he would also be richly rewarded when he do the jobs. But Kelvin thought the offer was too nice and questioned him, but the guildmaster saw through Kelvin that he was already S rank and that he was disguising his status and class to act independently. So the guildmaster used the information and made a proposal that Kelvin couldn't refuse. In doing so, Kelvin increased to a rank B adventurer and received a compliment from Claire at her tavern, and she gifted him with an extra dish for dinner to celebrate his promotion. But before that, he went to his room for lunch and questioned Melfina about the heroes Melfina had reincarnated before Kelvin. Kelvin then went to buy a slave with the money he stashed in Clotho. Arriving by the slave trader, he checked the stats of a half-elf who was cursed, but Kelvin bought the slave anyway, who was very happy. Then she introduced herself as Ethel, and Kelvin freed her from the curse with a skill that he had newly learned. Kelvin promised to take good care of Ethel, and she cried with thankfulness. Then Kelvin took her to dinner at the tavern, and the innkeeper Claire took care of Ethel. Claire gave Ethel new clothes, and Kelvin said that Ethel looks beautiful. Whereby Ethel became quite embarrassed, and she promised to do her best from now on. After that, Ethel helped Claire to prepare the food, and they ate together. After eating, Kelvin introduced her to his companions and explained to her how to distribute her skill points. But Kelvin couldn't sleep that night because he didn't get an extra bed in his room, and Ethel was too cute by sleeping next to him that he couldn't fall asleep. And here is where the video ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, check out the other videos and don't forget to like, subscribe Recap Senpai and ring the bell to be notified about the next part.